Nintendo loves their lawyers. They throw them around like soap in a shower. But there's one man who's been sued by Nintendo for $1.6 million, and this is his story. Let's have a look at it.
Imagine you are Nintendo.
I'm
just
Nintendo.
1 week, your next Mario game is about to be released. But then disaster strikes. The game somehow pops up on the internet to download for free.
What? For free?
Not good.
I need money for that.
You dig for clues about who leaked the game.
Who was it? I'll kill them.
A name comes up. James Burt.
I hate James.
To sue him for $1.5 million.
Nice.
Here's what happened.
Yeah, get him. Did you really sneak it out like that? Every Pokemon game gets leaked before it's released. They just manage to get away with it every single time. You never hear about people getting sued. Actually, there was a few people that did get absolutely slammed for leaking Pokemon games. And the entire continent of Europe did get punished when X and Y came out early.
So first off, we need to talk about
We got punished for that.
Real quick. Now,
I love
Australia is generally pretty unlucky when it comes to video games.
True.
Generally cost more and come out later than the rest of the world.
And also they have terrible internet.
But in 2009, Nintendo decided to buck this trend with their new Mario game, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. For once, the game was set to launch first in Australia, then a few days later in America, a week after that in Europe, and almost a whole month later in Japan.
Oh my god. Why? I never understood this. I mean, I know we have worldwide releases for games now, which makes sense, but why did they release it so much later? Almost a month later in Japan, which is the home of Nintendo? That doesn't make any sense.
So, November the 12th, that was when New Super Mario Bros. Wii was set to be released in Australia, the earliest date in the world. And
imagine being in Australia and getting it first and going online and not being able to tell people that you got it first because your internet is too slow. So by the time you'd post a message on Facebook, everyone else had gotten it anyway.
Who was paying close attention to that date was 24-year-old James Burt.
Damn,
at the time,
look at his
he
eyebrows.
was living with his parents. And
I wish I had his eyebrows.
He was a huge gaming fan. He'd bought just about every major console that came out since he was a teenager.
This seems like slightly Nintendo biased. I think there were other consoles too.
And he also liked to chat on online gaming forums. And it was these forums that got him into so much trouble later on. Now, according to his father, as a parent, I can tell you that he's a very quiet lad. He's a fanatical computer game player, to his detriment.
That is such a dad thing to say. Oh, yeah, he's a very quiet lad. A fanatical computer game player, though.
So, yes, that's
quintessential dad.
Now, one day, James was shopping in a large Australian shop. You'll have to guess which one.
Dude, is this Target?
When he noticed something. That new upcoming Mario game, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, was available early. This was November the 6th, a full week before the official release date.
Oh man! Poketubers are salivating at the possibility of getting a Pokemon game that early. Ooh! A whole week?
James Burt grabbed the game and took it to the checkout, and they let him buy it. He was the first person in the world outside of Nintendo to own this game, and he was pretty happy about it. So James Burt headed home and started chatting on his gaming forums when the topic of New Super Mario Bros. Wii came up. Now, this part of the story is where things get a little tricky. According to James's father, his son was egged on by the other people in the forum to prove that he actually got the game early. Upload the files, people told.
It's not like you could post a video or something of you playing that. No. In order to prove that you got the game early, you have to rip the game, rip the ROM out, and also post it online illegally. That's the only way to prove that you got it first. Oh, that poor guy. He got manipulated by those mean online forum people. I'm surprised it wasn't 4chan, to be honest.
Eventually, James gave in and uploaded the data from his disk onto the forum.
That's not even an easy thing to do. You have to have some kind of hacked console to be able to do that, as far as I'm aware, or some kind of hardware that allows you to do that. That's a pretty complex thing. I think he can figure out how to use a camera on a phone or something like that, surely.
Now, it's worth pointing out that Wii games actually have certain copy protections that mean that people couldn't actually just double-click on the files James uploaded and start playing the game.
Did he just get this from hackertyper.net? Look, chat, I'm hacking into the mainframe. I'm accessing the bypass of the firewall. Soon the CIA will have to activate their special defenses. Then I'll access the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, through the backwards loop in the back door. And then after I loop through the group info subsection, I can download Super Mario early for the Nintendo device.
However, it didn't take more than a day until members of the gaming forum had broken through these copy protections. And within 5 days, 50,000 people had downloaded and played New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Sounded like he was a man of the people. He wanted to give the game to as many people as they could, and as far as he was aware, they were all going to purchase the game legally and already had pre-ordered copies. In fact, I imagine that he only gave the game to people who had proven that they had pre-ordered versions. Therefore, James did nothing wrong.
A whole week before it had come out anywhere in the world. So that's what James Burt's dad said happened. However, according to Nintendo, things went down a little differently. They claim that rather than being pressured into uploading the data to prove that he really did get the game early, James Burt actually directly messaged a bunch of well-known members of the forum and sent them the data to try and make himself look cool, I guess.
Okay, that actually sounds like it has more credence. There's sometimes, you have to prove that you're cool. You have to go online and say, look, guys, I'm epic. I'm freaking amazing. And then you have to, show off a little bit if you got a new Nintendo game.
Which version of events is true. Nintendo is going to be biased against James, whereas his dad is obviously going to be biased in his favor. In truth, the actual events are probably somewhere in between.
Okay, here's what actually happened. He went online and was like, guys, I got Mario. And then people were like, you don't got Mario. And then he was like, I need to prove that I got Mario. So he messaged it to certain people and he sent it to them.
The end result is the same. Before the end of the week, New Super Mario Bros. Wii had been downloaded for free 50,000 times. And unsurprisingly, Nintendo didn't exactly ignore this. As they themselves stated, Nintendo was able to employ the use of sophisticated technological forensics to identify the
special sophisticated technological forensics. I bet he left his name in the file name or something like that. It was like New Super Mario Bros. ISO - James Burt. Lots of love from James.
Individual responsible for illegally copying the file and making it available for further distribution. Now, they don't state exactly how they figured out James Burt's identity, but before even a month had gone by, Nintendo obtained a federal court search order, which would let them search James Burt's home. And during this search, they seized some of James's property, most likely his computer, which they claim served as further evidence against him.
Because he uploaded it wrong?
James Burt was busted.
Oh, you're busted, Burt.
Solid proof that he was the leaker who uploaded their game onto the internet.
Oh no, Burt, it's over.
The legal action. James Burt was brought to federal court for breaching Australia's Copyright Act. And there really wasn't any question of guilt. It was very obvious that James Burt was guilty. And the case
James did nothing. Again, James did nothing wrong. He was a man of the people who wanted to share happiness in video games with people all across the world.
Settle. The result, James was ordered to pay 1.5 million Australian dollars to Nintendo.
Oh, Australian dollars? Oh, okay, that's like, what, $350 American?
Recuperate the lost sales Nintendo could have made. Or, as Nintendo phrased it, the legal proceeding resulted in a settlement in which the individual will pay to Nintendo the sum of $1.5 million by way of damages to compensate Nintendo for the loss of sales revenue caused by the individual's actions.
Damn, get slammed, James.
However, that wasn't the end of the demands. James Burt also had to pay Nintendo's legal fees, a hefty $100,000. Plus, he was forbidden from commenting publicly on the case.
Surely he can't afford this. Like, no way.
His father, though, was not subject to the same restrictions, and so he went to great lengths to defend his son's name. It was peer pressure on the internet forums and the blog sites that led him to do a very, very silly thing to prove that he'd actually managed to purchase a game before its release date, his father stated. It was certainly done with no malice or intent to make money.
Clearly it wasn't done with intent to make money, because it was just on the internet for free. He didn't even charge for it. He didn't even do the base Red Pull thing and be like, yo, you want this game? You want this game early? Yeah, 50 grand, you get it early.
Seems like the end of the story. But there's one final, slightly bizarre footnote. 3 years later, James Burt popped up on Reddit to say this. Hey there, James
here he
Burt
comes.
from Australia here.
Oh, the real James Burt.
It's ironic that out of everyone in Australia they could have chosen, I get given a Ganon statue for being a good customer of Nintendo.
What?
Yeah, so years after the lawsuit had ended and James Burt had paid his dues, Nintendo decided to gift him a Ganon amiibo. I was given a phone call from my local EB Games saying Nintendo chose me and to come pick it up.
That's
no
out of spite!
For winning,
There's no way!
EB Games had no info on it, just that I won. No papers came with it, just the figure in a Nintendo brown box.
Dude, that's gotta be out of spite. There's no way. Someone looked at it, someone looked at the whole situation that happened, and one guy that worked at Nintendo was like, I'm gonna fuck with this guy's day a little bit. I'm gonna spit on the wound.
Very grateful they chose me, don't get me wrong, and I do still love Nintendo after being sued.
Nintendo sues the dude for $1.5 million, and he's still like, yeah, dude, I love Nintendo. Come on, man. It's a super mega company. That's crazy. How much money does this guy have where he can just be like, yeah, I mean, they took like $1 million from me, but I guess I still kind of like them. That's fine.
I think it's kind of immoral to sue an individual for such a huge amount of money. Obviously, piracy is a crime, but like, no one died, no one was hurt, and
No, you don't understand. There was something hurt. The bottom line was hurt, and that's the most important thing. Can't touch those profits. You'll get slammed for centuries if you touch those profits.
Over 30 million copies. So I think Nintendo ended up doing just fine for themselves. But $1.6 million, equivalent to about £850,000, that is an amount that changes your life forever. Unless you're like Jeff Bezos, that is going to take a long time to pay off.
Just because he uploaded a ROM online, that's insane.
James Burt seems to be doing fine. In the years since the lawsuit, he's started multiple online gaming blogs, which is cool.
Okay.
And he doesn't seem to be bitter, which is impressive.
Nah, he's got to have a rich family. There's no way. He's loaded. He's loaded to the gills. You can't just come out of that and be like, yeah, whatever. I mean, that's fine. I kind of get it. It's totally fine. He's loaded. He's got a millionaire dad.
I would have a lot more resentment harbored up inside of me. I guess we should all aspire to be a bit more like James Burt, other than the piracy thing, of course.
I maintain, once again, James Burt did nothing wrong. He's the man of the people. Anyway, there's another fantastic video from Tom Games Docs. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the second channel. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers, and I really want 100,000 subscribers.